My name is George. Welcome to the channel. This is my first video. This channel is going to be dedicated to my adventures in the tabletop scene with Warhammer, Flames of War, Bolt Action, Dungeons and Dragons, so on. I've been playing Bolt Action for a couple of years now, and I've noticed on YouTube and when I go and play it with others at events, there are some rules people just either don't know exist or they forget about. So number 5 on my top 5 list of rules you probably didn't know about in Bolt Action. This is all about the sniper team in Bolt Action. I've seen in various YouTube videos and I've begun to watch people play it, and I've noticed that people are using snipers incorrectly. Snipers ignore pretty much all negative to hit modifiers. They hit on 3s by default. They ignore small team, unit in cover, unit in buildings, and long range. By default, they hit on 3s. Snipers only take negative to hit modifiers from 2 things: pin markers and losing an assistant. By default, regardless of their veterancy and regardless of the range and cover, they will always be hitting on a 3. This makes sniper rifle teams extremely deadly in Bolt Action. But I noticed that some people were hitting on 6s with snipers, 5s on snipers, while using the scope, and it's just not true. You either hit on 3 or you don't. Number 4. Number 4 on my top 5 list is about buildings. Did you know that buildings not just provide a +2 to hit modifier for your infantry and gun teams when they're inside? They also provide a +1 to kill. So what does this mean? It means that when your infantry are inside a building, you add +1. So inexperienced and normally killed on 3s, they become killed on 4s, regulars on 5s, and veterans on a 6. This makes buildings a bit more usable and a bit more worthwhile taking, because your inexperienced become regs and your regs become vets, and your vets are essentially Soviet engineers all the time in the building. So that's another rule you might not know about in Bolt Action. Number 3. Number 3 is a very small rule in the book, but it states assistance for gun teams and the team weapon must be within an inch of the weapon operator. That might sound a little pointless, but it's not, and I will explain. If you have your loader dragged behind your infantry squad and your rifle at the front, out of an inch, technically the LMG suffers a -1 to hit because the assistant is not in range of him. You must keep them together, and in turn that means that you have to carefully move your troops more often with an light machine gun. It applies to all team weapons, which we know anyway because of only 2-man teams you have to keep them within an inch, so that doesn't matter. But if you've got a 10-man squad with a light machine gun and an assistant, keep them together, don't spread them throughout the infantry squad. Number 2. Number 2 is a very odd one. Did you know that tanks can actually assault buildings? Yes, they can actually assault a building. I did not know this, neither did the people who I was playing with know this, until I had a good scour of the rulebook. But in fact, tanks can assault a building. How does it work? Well, essentially, it's like ramming a tank, only your opponent rolls either a 2d6 for a wooden building, or a 3d6 for a brick building, and they roll against each other. The highest armour wins. But that's another little detail I didn't know you could do. So if you've got an enemy sniper team in a building in front of your tank, ram the building and you will take them snipers out. Oh, and don't forget, you must take 1 pin marker on your tank for ramming that building. And finally, number 1. This is a rule that is about the target's morale, and it's quite an important rule. When you hit an enemy unit and they lose half of the men from that turn of shooting, they must take a morale check. So if you have a 5-man infantry squad and it goes down to a 2-man infantry squad, you take a morale check, including all of the pins that you would have accrued from the shooting. You do this every time you get shot and you lose half of your men. What people don't realise though, this doesn't just apply to an infantry team, it applies to everyone. That goes from your commanders, to your gun teams, to your sniper teams, to your flamethrower teams. You must make a morale check on everyone, if you lose half of the squad. So if you've got a 2-man flamethrower team and you lose the assistant, take the morale check. You have to. That's the way it works. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. This is my first video of many to come. I'll be dedicating a lot more time to the channel and getting more of these videos done. That's my top 5 rules in Bolt Action. Join me again next time where we'll take a look at something different, either in Bolt Action or Flames of War. Take care. Bye bye.